Recently, Biden authorized an airstrike on Syria, targeting alleged Iran-backed militias, which are being blamed for an attack on an airport in northern Iraq, during which an American military contractor died. The Biden administration is open about how these strikes in Syria are a warning to Iran. President Biden said he intended to send the message that you can't act with impunity. Be careful, Jack. Now, I know this might be a controversial take, but bombing and killing people in Syria could be problematic, a bad look, if you will. First is the trouble with the legality, in that it's not legal, legally speaking. Airstrikes against Syria without authorization by Congress or by the UN are illegal, both under U.S. law and international law, according to legal expert Professor Mary Ellen O'Connell, as well as congressional Democrats, who cite Article 1 of the Constitution that only allows military action if authorized by Congress. Second is that there doesn't seem to be very good evidence for the justification for the attack, that it was retaliation against Iran-backed militias. Military officials have indicated that they don't have concrete evidence about who was responsible for the airport bombing in Iraq. According to an LA Times article, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said as of February 23rd, the US wasn't able to give certain attribution as to who was behind these attacks. And it was Thursday, February 25th, when the airstrike was carried out, with no update on the US getting any new information or being able to give certain attribution. So it seems that the attack was carried out illegally, based on little if any evidence, which, if it exists, is not being shared with the public. But even if it was a very legal, very cool, and very evidence-based murder, would it be a good idea? Because the stated purpose is to jab Iran in the chest while growling, "Hey, listen, you horse-dogged corn soldier." You know, waving our war dick around, a thing we think is good now. Trump war dick, tiny mushroom. Biden war dick, thick and veiny. You know how jabbing voters in the chest is good when it's our guy?
We gotta stop building and replacing pipelines. We gotta go vote for somebody else.
But this all seems like kind of maybe a bad idea when we're at a very critical time in negotiations with Iran. Right now, the US is trying to strike a new nuclear deal with Iran since, you know, Trump unilaterally pulled out of it and broke our end of the bargain. You know who should have pulled out? Trump's dad. Boom. Yeah, take that, disgraced president no longer in power. Are we not doing that anymore? We're not getting internet money for cheap Trump jokes? Your dad should have pulled out when he came in your mom. All right, anyway, I guess I have to shift over to shilling for crypto like the Krasensteins. Even more alarming, though, is the fact that the Biden administration doesn't seem to know how to negotiate with Iran. Quincy Institute co-founder and former president of the National Iranian American Council, Trita Parsi, points out that Iran is unlikely to want to negotiate until Trump-era sanctions are lifted. Because, here's the thing, under Trump, we broke our nuclear agreement with Iran, and as an added f*** you, continued to impose sanctions until Trump's very last days in office. If Biden wants to start off with a clean slate with Iran, he'd need to lift Trump's sanctions, which Biden is playing a game of no, you first, demanding Iran stops enriching uranium. Which, again, since the US broke the nuclear agreement, Iran has no reason not to enrich uranium. So making this demand when we've been the ones breaking all our promises is like Jay-Z is the US, Beyonce is Iran, Jay-Z cheats on Iran, and then gets mad at Beyonce for enriching uranium. Is this making sense? I'm clearly not a foreign diplomacy expert, despite my perfect Beyonce analogy. But here's how expert Trita Parsi puts it. Quote, Biden's attitude has been that the U.S. simply is not responsible for the actions of the Trump administration. All the U.S. needed to do to regain the moral high ground was to elect a new president, even though the new president is continuing the policies of the old president. Anyway, the point is, if Biden wants to negotiate with Iran, lifting sanctions and, I don't know, not bombing Syria might be a good place to start. Look, I'm no master negotiator, but like, if you were trying to do a diplomacy with me, I would like you to not kick me in the nuts, or bomb my nuts, or fly B-52 bombers over my nuts, something the Biden administration did earlier this month. I mean, well, they flew military warplanes over the Persian Gulf. It's not, they haven't threatened my nuts. Not yet, anyway. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.